right, I am back from a place that was not the bathroom.
And if we had these sponsors, that would have been a great place for a commercial break just now.
Wouldn't it? But until then, you can go to Vamp's site.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, I appreciate it.
No problem, seriously, if you're even in a shade of New York, get on that. So, 10 introductory manga/anime. Do I have an organizing ethos for this?
You can
I
say
think
no.
These are independent, but I kind of imagine this as a progression on perhaps one resistant person.
Okay.
But the other answer is also no. Maybe these are just 10 things I could just mash in the face.
It could be an emergent theme. You know, something that you did not go into imagining, but it sort of evolved out of your efforts. Those happen.
So, for my first one, I'm thinking about this idea of, a gateway anime. And I kind of wanted to see if there's one I could do. I could almost try to sneak in on someone.
Sure.
Like someone who's got some of that real genetic level, like, borderline reactionary anti-anime thing. And this one is basically a honeypot in terms of its length and content. Like, I think you could do a wanna see a cool video in this.
Okay.
And it could be a nice, deep sand trap, which their golf club will try to free their mind in for the next 10 years. But I'm getting towards Gundam Thunderball here, which is one of my favorite micro series of anything.
God, it's still goddamn fucking good. It's like, it's fucking Gendy Wars good. It might be better.
It is Gendy Wars good, and it's a very simple idea of really reducing the Gundam formula down to essentially just focusing on
two guys trying to kill each other.
Kill each other for no reason. This musical motif that carries everything so well. This corner of the war that they could almost flash on screen. This does not matter. You are dying for nothing.
You are dying for nothing. The consequences of this will be felt by no one other than the people who die here.
It is really Verdun Hill number 47.
God, yeah.
In space. And I also will always have a small thing in my heart for... I have a really fucked up sense of humor, but I think it's also a nice sense of narrative tragedy. And just the entire Xeon disabled unit is a really efficient idea for why isn't this war over yet? What are you doing, Jesus Christ?
There's something very Joseph Heller about it.
But I think that Gundam Thunderbolt is interesting for this list because I think it could sneak in the way of, like, I saw this cool music video and the Zalgo smile slowly spreads across your face. It's whispering in the ear, you will become me. So number 2. And full disclosure, I've actually only read this. I hear the anime is equally fantastic, but I've only read it. Whatever. Mm-hmm. But I don't really think you need a nerd bone in your body to appreciate Monster.
Maybe a crime drama or like mystery bone, but
yeah,
really, but I not even then.
It is a series that, I mean, first off, just elementally clear of anything resembling what we call SAB on this show, which is a standard...
Stupid anime bullshit.
Which, that sort of comes with the sort of prestige area that sort of occupies. But I also just think that there's something very universal about the paranoia and optimism under this story.
Mm-hmm.
It's borderline inimitable, and you have that opening trap of, hey, want to see this Law & Order premise?
Dr. Tenma also looks like Trent Reznor from the 90s. So...
That's very important.
If you're a Trent stan like me.
If they have certain tattoos on their person, Monster may be an even easier sell. But I think that those traits make Monster an excellent, bit of cheese on the manga trap.
A little bit of a content warning on that one, though. It's not for kids.
It is not for kids, true. It's a good gateway. It is not a good Babby's First in the literal sense.
Probably not, no.
it is not a pre-cure.
I mean, I totally watched a bunch of it as a 15-year-old. But,
Yeah, we were in the fucking Cannibal Holocaust party group. What?
yeah, we were. When did I first see Dead Alive? I think it was like 14. I couldn't have been older than 16 when I saw Dead Alive.
Is that the one that's also called Brain Dead?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Peter
yeah.
Jackson's, I think, perhaps first movie.
Do you think somewhere towards the 16th gallon of blood it became about proving a point?
I think he got paid to have a whole lot of fun.
I think he got a lot of endorphins out of that production, yeah.
That must have been so much fun to make. It was fun to watch, certainly.
So, number 3, I was sort of thinking about action heads and kind of the innate appeal to action as stories told through violence, stories about violence. There's that whole Quentin Tarantino quote that gets bandied around a lot because it's a good quote, and he's a good director, man. I shouldn't even say bandied around a lot. There's a good Quentin Tarantino quote about how violence is just such a big part of the reality of the human experience. And whether you are trying to render something in exacting detail or an over-the-top cartoon, violence has a kind of innate role and appeal in storytelling. And I think Vinland Saga captures that. It's very much about violence, accepting it, rejecting it, what it does to you and your character. And it's about that in a way that is just smarter than most things about violence. And something I was getting at towards this is that Vinland Saga is on a unique wavelength because it totally has all the appeal of anime's sort of directorial and stylistic approach to violence without any of sort of the
baggage
that it has picked up along the way, and that makes it a very special series to me.
I think it's not just that. There's this series has all of these fascinating ideas. This darkness to it that I find amazingly compelling. My favorite scene from the anime is the scene in which this priest who has lost his faith explains the concept of love, where he's talking about how one person's love for another is not, to his eyes, really love. It's just a form of very targeted discrimination, positive towards one person, less so towards the rest of humanity. But here, lying face first in the snow, is a dead man. This man will feed animals as they come by. He will become one with the earth. He will go to meet God. He is at peace now. This right here is love. And what you think is love is no, that is a perversion. That is a human invention. That is something that it is a story that we tell each other to make ourselves feel good about the terrible things that we do to one another because we say that it's in the name of this good thing or that good thing. No. Love is not what you think it is. It is what this man is doing right here, face first in the snow, having drawn his last breath. And that fucking scene changed me.
It is a very essay-compatible scene in a very essay-compatible show that... Also, again, we're talking about gateway anime here, so if we just also get back down to brass tacks, let's not forget, fucking sweet.
Fucking sick.
Your friend could be a real moron. He's like, Vikings. There's this sort of borderline strawman, beautiful image I love about some people watching Gundam, which is, I might make it the picture for the episode just so that people can see it and know what the fuck I'm talking about. But it's just like a shoddily drawn thing, and it shows it shows the classic original Gundam shooting a beam rifle with the words "War is bad" over it, and that beam just loops over the straw man, and the guy just says, "Wow, cool robot." And you can definitely approach Vinland Saga from there.
Man, you're probably not gonna find the latter arcs that amazingly interesting, though.
Some people are pissed.
You stupid fucks! Did you not understand the fucking story that he was telling?
If you could see the seething that some people get from Spoilertopia, from the second that Ascalon doesn't, like, no condom run his way to the top of the fucking world. And then just the tears as, like, fucking Thorfinn, like, learns things about life in the world, like, it didn't have to be like this! And I'm just like, oh my god, you actually, without irony, just wanted him to be Sasuke Uchiha and grow up into a stronger version of Sasuke Uchiha. Suck a fucking dick.
Suck my dick.
We're going on it. We're going to America. Sam talked a bit about formats earlier, and I guess this was my thought to it, and this one is not a fake out in any way, shape, or form. But I kind of just think it's something that just emphasizes the virtue of the format, what you can do with the format. Some of the things are even just allowed by the expectations that are caked into, just like, okay, it's anime, what kind of wild shit are you gonna throw at me? And I think that Redline is a lot of that. This fucking hand animated thing that I can only imagine being animated by either pure faith or tax fraud or both. But the years they took to hand animate a sci-fi wacky race.
I know it's really hard to get drugs in Japan, so doing this without cocaine. Jesus Christ.
Doing this without cocaine is something I can't understand. It's like riding the Running Man in a weekend without cocaine. I would be left in awe.
And I certainly am left in awe. Like, every time I fucking watch this thing, I struggle to understand how the fuck they did it.
But I think that Redline would be a good, straightforward, hard pitch on the appeal of a lot of types of anime.
Also, your animation nerd friends, if they are not already into anime, which, I don't know, seems weird if they're already... Like, animation nerds know about anime and know what they like about anime. So, if there are any who don't, this is,
yeah.
This will make them jealous.
Lo and behold. But we have certain worshippers of the Script Clan who might feel above Redline. So we've got our second pistol in our fucking pirate bandolier. I would almost pull these three out in a row, but... Paprika. We're going back into Satoshi Kon land here, right?
Yes we are. This is him.
Paprika, if you have... This would also appeal to a lot of people who do not fit this description. Mm-hmm. But if it is someone who would just do a sort of kind of sound and expression during Redline as someone introduces his name as Metalhead. Machine Head. Then I would suggest Paprika is just another one of those artful circles around what is identity in the modern world.
I think, so when I was in college, you know, I knew the anime crowd, right? I knew who was into anime and who was not into anime. Mm-hmm. And there was this plurality of people I knew in college who were not otherwise into anime who fucking love Paprika.
Yeah.
It has such amazingly broad demographic appeal just to anyone who likes to think about that sort of thing, I guess, you know?
Dream worlds, dream lives. Hard to talk about without just sort of laying out a summary, I think, in some ways. What I like about Paprika is that it can borderline backfire. I'll just say, like, yeah, that's one of the good ones.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I'm sure there's at least one or two folks out there.
But then I guess you could say that about anything of quality, so I would just suggest for anyone who likes anything more contemplative or just color nukes, Paprika has a lot of appeal there.
Parade.
We've been talking about stimulation here, you know, portrayals of dream worlds, hand animation, and redline speed. So we talk about stimulation. We are not always necessarily stimulating the frontal lobe. Sometimes you want to see someone do a kickflip. That's why Hellsing was made.
Fuck yes.
That's why Hellsing has OVAs. That's why Hellsing is one of the most singular things I've ever seen created. there might be a generation gap here. If there is, Hellsing is a well-animated action show about Dracula fighting Nazis. And
It asks so little of you.
And just imagine what the best version of that fucking pitch is like, and that's pretty much Hellsing.
That's Hellsing, yeah.
And there are people in your life that might just be needing that. It's been a hard slice of human history, and they might not be looking to think about a dream world or the layers of society or the nature of violence or the nature of warfare or a serial murderer, and maybe they just want to see Dracula
Maybe
kill
they just
Nazis.
want to see Dracula kill Nazis, and that is, brother, that is exactly what they are going to get.
Allow me to not worry you that Hellsing will lose its way halfway through.
No, he's gonna still be killing Nazis.
If I were to get off of my tight 5 perch for a second, Hellsing does have an inimitable sense of style, which sort of carries it through a lot of the way, which you sort of need in something about Dracula killing Nazis.
Well, yeah, it doesn't phone it in.
Yeah,
certainly.
It doesn't phone it in. It knows that,
it has a personality to it.
Has personality, has panache. It is borderline crank on the pacing sometimes, which I appreciate. Oh, this isn't a precise quote from Tyler, the creator, but when I think about Hellsing, I think about a tweet to the effect of me and my dope friends do dope shit. And that's what Hellsing is about. I really recommend Sam's list if your friends are smarter than mine. So, with a lot of my list, I realized I've been doing this weird shadow boxing thing.
Mm-hmm.
So for this next one, I thought more about how did I seriously get into anime as opposed to this is one of the action shows on Toonami that I sort of accept as one good block. And I did watch anime shows before this, but I wasn't hyper into anime as a discrete unit, as something I was like sort of wrist tapping to get more. And when I say that, by the way, really funny fact about me and anime and Gundam in general, I watched Gundam as a really junior cut kind of plastic dub kind of thing in like a boys and girls club kind of like, this is interesting, and I saw it like half out of order originally.
You don't slap your wrist. You slap, this vein right here.
Oh, like okay.
In the crook of your elbow, because it'll make it easier for it to see, and thus easier to inject heroin into your.
That's an important lesson. But I started getting into anime in a big way with Big O, and partially it was because it got yanked away from me halfway. I'm like, why? What happened? What the fuck happened? And I just learned all kinds of wacky things about production cycles and
network fickleness, weird fucking endings to mecha anime that like it's a fucking giant robot. Why is this ending so goddamn weird? And like that's just a thing that happens not just with this show but with many.
And Big O is a great gateway show because it actually had more appeal to Western audiences.
Yeah, I believe it was a co-production with Toonami. The
second season and the manga were all inspired by it just doing so well on Toonami that was enough to spur production.
Okay.
I guess maybe that's not as out there an idea now, but it was very interesting at the time.
Well, yeah, we got Crunchyroll Originals now.
Yeah, we got Crunchyroll Original now, all that shit. We have our beautiful, beautiful Aztec Suffering Boy.
Oh, I love that show like I love the Baltimore Orioles.
The Bears live in hell, they say.
The Browns live in hell.
The Browns live in hell.
The Bears. Not a great team.
Which city's team was it that you were seeing all the conspiracy books about?
That was Cleveland. That was the Browns. That was the now Guardians.
That's a great texture.
And not the Spiders.
But yeah,
fucking missed opportunity.
Big O in the elements it chooses and the things it focuses upon. For the uninitiated, it's essentially a noir mecha show with a sort of Batman-ish protagonist.
One of the most explicit, this guy is basically Bruce Wayne characters in fiction.
Yeah,
Besides Bruce Wayne himself.
he is slightly more just Batman than Black Panther is
Yeah.
on that spectrum. And a lot of that stuff just resonates very strongly with the Weeaboo spec-fic nerd, so I highly recommend Big O as a sleeper agent / weapon to bring them into the holy light of weebdom.
Sure.
Sasuga Volt. I should say, I just really liked the sort of noir revival vibe of that show, by the way.
Well,
Like,
it was all fucking Art Deco-y and shit. It was an Art Deco giant robot. What's not to fucking love?
just a wonderful mood and tone and personality for that thing. I think that's one thing of my dull media nerve endings that just sticks with me more over time, is that I just really appreciate things with strong, inimitable personalities.
Yeah.
And it translates over to comedy too, because for all the things I've tried to pitch as sort of fake outs or Western appeal or universal appeal, our next tech, this is something that is very specifically anime, but it's in the satirical mode, which is not necessarily everyone's first thought when it comes to anime's appeals and strengths.
Sure.
Like, we think a lot about these epics, we think a lot about these action shows.
Stuff that's very in your face about stuff.
Something in your face about stuff, or even just like your artful fairy tales or family meditations or your Porco Rossos and shit, but
Sure.
something like Zetsubo Sensei, which is just one of my favorite anime. Does it count as a franchise when they just did that bullshit, like, new word in front of every new season thing, or...
Oh my god, it makes it so fucking impossible to watch.
Right, but the entire Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei oeuvre is a favorite of mine. It is something that...
It's pretty goddamn piquant.
It's one of those weird things that's more fun from the outside, because it's already setting this off-kilter mood, and it almost is additive to the off-kilterness. It uses Japanese classroom as a framing device before it just goes bonkers every time.
This might be your one pick that I'm not so sure that I agree with, insofar as this is a good gateway series. It is very much aimed at people who live in Japan, more than anything else. And like,
Oh wait, I know what happened here.
what happened?
You all should know now because it's very amusing me. I was actually sort of thinking of this as a sort of boiling a frog with weebdom.
Oh, I see what you. Okay, yeah.
These all are essentially escalating. Because, spoilers, I put Kill la Kill right after this. So, I think I may have envisioned almost as I duct taping someone into harder and harder anime drugs.
Alright, so we had two different ethoses about this. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't watch this one first.
So yeah, Zetsubo
Out of
Sensei,
anything on that list.
they've
Or
been
your
smoking.
list.
They've been smoking for a while. You ask if they want to try an edible. They say, I don't know. I have to do some homework after this. And you call them a pussy.
This is your homework now. Muda 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 muda. Let's rumba.
Let's rumba. This has, I just want to say, by the way, because of my congenital disorder, one of my favorite opening scenes in an anime, which is just
Man tries to hang himself.
man tries to hang himself, Pollyanna girl skips down. Like, what are you doing?
Making yourself taller.
Look, you're in or you're out.
It's a pretty great hard sell.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the record, I in my daily life scream "What if I died" at people.
It's very important.
Always as a joke, and I always make sure that like they know it's a joke from context or whatever. I never actually like scream it at them. It's always, you know, said in jest with that. But I say "What if I died" to people a lot.
Now, they've been in Weenie Hut Jr. They've been in Weenie Hut General. They've been in the Weenie Hut. This is when you take out your hand-rolled cigarette and you ask them if they're ready for some dust. Because within Kill la Kill...
Fuck, what a fucking perfect goddamn show.
Has anything been more itself than Kill la Kill?
I doubt it.
It almost hurt their long-term career. They just want that to happen again.
No, yeah, you're right. They've been trying.
It's like, why can't we just do that again? If I fucking saw the ending of Brand New Animal, I'm like, no, you can't just turn him into Ragyo in space. Shut the fuck up.
Kill la Kill, for me, is a collection of all these little fucking things that I absolutely adore.
Yeah.
I honestly want to say, if I have one criticism of it, I would say that its parts end up being more enjoyable than the whole for me, but it has so many great little fucking parts that you get distracted. You get you're so into, whatever this new fucking thing that they're doing is this episode, right? That you're not so much worried. I do think it does add up to a satisfying enough whole, but really what you're here for is all just the fun that they're having with this shit.
I would say that the difference between Kill la Kill and what one might call the pure elemental high art that sticks with you in that cohesive kind of way is sort of difference between the film Predator and Star Wars. Because Predator is made of just a bunch of amazing little distinct things.
Yes.
That stick with you and are unique and wonderful. But might not change your life the way Star Wars does.
But I don't know. It almost did though, because
because it's Predator.
Because it's Predator. Because if there's a show that knows what it is more than anything else, I think it is Kill la Kill. I will sometimes accuse a show of having an identity crisis, of being a show that is not as smart as it thinks it is, or not as thought provoking, or it wants to be a mystery but instead comes off as a group of idiots, or it wants to be a comedy but there's something weird about all that kind of thing. Kill la Kill, they just took aim and fired and hit exactly what the fuck they were going for. And if you're into it, you're into it, and if you're not, you're not. I've actually found it to be something of a divisive show. For my money, though, fucking fantastic shit, and I enjoyed every single episode of it, especially every scene featuring Mr. Large. He is another one of my favorite characters from anime.
Mr. Large is hard to forget.
Ira Gamagori, the best character from that show.
Ira whips Gamagori, indeed. Once again, this is what I could only describe as some kind of weeaboo conversion therapy I've arranged here. And the end of this process, when you have broken their will and spirit, that's when you drop the Zeta Gundam on
Now
them.
you are ready, my child.
Yes.
Now you are ready for the true Kino.
Come, sip from the chalice that I have filled for you.
Sip from the nectar of the gods.
The virus lives in you now.
You will know.
You are mine forever.
I will not die alone, and neither shall you.
And after you finish Zeta Gundam, you just whisper, "What are you looking forward to in the spring season?" And they look up and say, "It's full of isekai trash." And then you hand them their lightsaber.
And you will give them a quick hug, a pat on the back of their head, and you will tell them, "There's nothing more that I can teach you."
Yeah. Obvious caveat here. Yes, Zeta Gundam is even more fun in some ways if you have just done the origin or some shit before it. For my money, I think it is arranged in a way that it can be a fantastic standalone work and is already, 48, 52?
It's about 50 episodes.
It's already 50 episodes
50 episodes.
long.
It's an easy enough to follow, young man going off to war story, but...
Some of you own firearms, whatever, but, if I had to have someone just watch one Gundam show, or if I just watch one Gundam show, I would do Zeta before 0078. I am that man.
I mean, it's real Kino.
It's... Maybe I just like me a good colony Okay.
There's a colony laser in 79.
True.
There's the first colony laser in 79. It was, the big turning
They
point
both
of the
have
series.
such great war crimes.
They really do. It's a war crimes franchise. It's a show, it's a franchise about all of the things that people do in between the war crimes. And also the war crimes themselves.
And how they innovate, and, you know, the colony gassing episodes are really...
That was my favorite episode of The Origin. I found it, like, difficult to watch, but impossible to look away. And then you get to see the aftermath of one of those in Zeta Gundam, and it's fucking harrowing.
It's like, oh, I could see this war recurring 3 or 4 more
Like,
times.
3 or 4 times. Easy. People are mad about it. Why would you not be mad about, like, going to a colony that's been gassed and seeing this and being like, we should fucking gas the fuckers who did this.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fucking take that out of context. None of you
Weeaboo
fucking...
Hell is cancelled. What, you're gonna cancel him with that and not the 3 times I threatened to kill sitting United States president? It was Trump, I just want the record to show. That's my only defense. I wouldn't even say I didn't do it or that there was context or it was a joke, just it was Trump. I wasn't saying to murder Uncle Joe.
He doesn't really need our help.
Who the fuck murders Uncle Joe? How impatient is your ass? Okay.
Alright. Okay. Oh, we're getting towards 2 hours now.
Alright, so I'm either gonna split this into 2 episodes. I'm definitely gonna split 2 episodes. I need sleep. You people need sleep.
We need sleep.
But thank you all for listening to both halves of our Gateway Anime special.
It's been Weeaboo Hell.
Failing all of this, fuck with your friends. Just say, hey, there's this cool show called Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
If you feel like having fewer friends.
I think you might be into it. It's just walking there like, yo, you ever heard of black tar heroin? I think we should try some black tar heroin this weekend. I think it might add something.
Just if you're a person who really likes that stinging sensation as you get fucking smacked. Alright, this has been Weeaboo Hell.
Yeah. You might notice there weren't any...
say...
Oh, it's Weeaboo Hell. There are no isekai on the list. Suck my dick. Go on.
Fucking suck my dick. Isekai blows.